So a few years ago, a client asked us for the source code for a software as a service application that we built that we were selling to customers. They wanted to make it their own. They want the source code, they wanted to brand it, and they wanted to create something that they could use internally. What they didn't plan for, though, is a number of different things that became headaches for them over time. So here are the three things that they didn't plan for, and the third one is why they had to call us back. This just isn't a story about software. What this is really about is why are we paying for this every month, and let's just own it ourselves. And it's really an instinct every owner has had about software or equipment or any service that you outsource. Owning the code feels like control and savings on paper. This is what it actually costs in practice. If you're weighing a custom build right now or thinking about bringing something in-house to cut a vendor bill, this video is for you. We're going to walk through three different things that really should be served as a caution, but also maybe just advance warning as you're about to go down that pathway. If you're weighing a custom build right now or thinking about bringing something in-house to cut a vendor bill out, this one's for you. Number one is feature parity. And what that is that the fork that they've taken of our code is just a snapshot in time. The original code, we kept building on it, we kept moving with it. We kept having these new updates and new features that they couldn't actually get access to because they've taken our code and they've started doing their own things. They've been frozen in time other than with the features they're adding. So the gap didn't stay the same size, it widened every single month, and standing still is actually falling behind for them. They're missing out on all the cool stuff, all the new stuff that's actually enhancing and improving the application. That's not even including all the bug fixes and all the other issues that they need to attend to when it comes to actually maintaining code. Number two is maintaining the code itself. A forked code base needs a team behind it. Just because you've taken the code and, as we mentioned before, it's frozen in time, this is not something they actually planned in their budget. They need to actually have developers that are actually continually developing and improving the code itself. But what about the situation where they find bugs, they find security issues? They had to pull in developers just to keep their copy of the code running. And that's not even including all the infrastructure people to manage the servers and all the hosting that goes along with that as well. So it's really a standing cost that nobody's actually budgeted for. What this taught them is there's actual costs for maintaining code, or code you own, or code you've open source, whatever it might be. The Linux Foundation research on private fork puts the average at 5,160 labor hours, but $258,000 per release cycle just to stay current with the original code. That's not a one-time cost. That's an every single cycle that you're going for releases. Number three is patching the open source dependencies. This is the one nobody expects. So when you actually take code, and most code these days uses a number of different open source libraries. Open source has been something really popular since the late 90s, where you could go online and find a lot of contributed code throughout the internet. GitHub being one of the most popular, SourceForge being another. The reality is that there's a lot of different dependencies these applications have today, and that's including everything from Facebook to Twitter and whatever other application you're using out there. So the software that we built leaned on open source libraries underneath it, and those needed security patches too. They had nobody assigned to watch for these patches. Vulnerabilities were piling up, and there's nobody tracking them. This is the one that actually brought them back to us. Not the cost, it's really the exposure that really brought them into this whole thing and why they had to call us back. So a gap they couldn't see was a real risk the whole time. So they came back to us and we actually helped them put in all these different dependencies and also helped them update and patch the software. And it's still a constant thing to them to this day that they continually need to monitor. So here's the real lesson out of this whole thing here. Owning the code isn't the same as owning the capability to maintain it. Custom software isn't a one-time expense. It's standing behind the team that you fund, typically 15 to 20% of what it costs you to build. Every year, forever, you're going to be spending that to maintain it. And that doesn't mean custom's wrong. It means you need to maintain and price in everything that goes along with actually maintaining the code base as you're going along. If you don't have a plan, a vendor supported product is a great way to go. And the reason why is they have the R&D teams building out new features, new functionality, adapting to new technologies as they're evolving. So it's not a bad thing to have a vendor. It's not a bad thing to pay subscription because you are actually investing into a company that's actually helping you build out things. So there's nothing wrong with that. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with custom software either. You can continue to have custom software. Many companies will, especially in the age of AI, we'll see a lot more of that. But keep in mind, you still need to maintain the code. You need to still search for vulnerabilities. You still need to protect everything that is about your code base, your customers, your information, and your data. So if you're staring down a build versus buy decision right now, before you spend the money, not after, this is exactly the kind of conversation you need to have with your teams to make sure that you're actually planning this out properly. It might be more cost effective to actually build your own custom solution. Maybe having those extra features that are very custom to your organization is well worth the cost of doing that. So you need to determine that. But also remember, those subscription fees are not the end of the world. They also do go into things and investments that you wouldn't otherwise spend on your own internal teams. This is the kind of thing that looks like a savings decision on a spreadsheet and turns into a risk decision 2 years later. The reality is there's no right or wrong answer to all this. It's all about planning and making sure you're prepared for any expenses or costs or obligations that you really need to do when you have your own custom solution versus something a software as a service might provide by a vendor. So there's no wrong answer here, but it's certainly things to consider. And as the customer that we worked with years ago found out that there's a lot more work involved by having that platform on your own, the development costs, the maintenance costs, and just making sure all those dependencies are taken care of. So if you enjoyed this video, there's a lot more stories like this that we're trying to put together on this channel. And I hope you'll hit subscribe on there and join us again for the next episode.